right here at 413 at WVOF 88.5 FM in Fairfield, Connecticut. Our next guest, a great friend of ours, he's been compared to a modern day of funky Duke Ellington. He is the founder, and he is still the funky maestro of Minneapolis' Sounds of Blackness. He hails originally from Yonkers, but makes his home in Minneapolis, and a great thing that you'll be able to get in your stores tomorrow, the brand new record from Kings and Queens. Actually, that's the title of it, Kings and Queens, Message Music from the Movement, Sounds of Blackness. And it's a great pleasure once again to welcome our dear friend, Mr. Gary Hines.
Hey, Brother Joe, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, and we're talking with you on the eve of the official in-store release. What are you doing on the day before?
I am working, my man. The song some years ago said, "Got me working day and night."
Right, Michael Jackson. And
you
right?
know it, man. But that's not a complaint, man. It's all a blessing. We're just in preparation, of course, as you say. Kings and Queens, Message Music from the Movement will be in stores tomorrow, exclusively at Best Buy, and we're doing a community-wide CD release, Brother Joe. I know you and Sister G will be here in spirit, so we're preparing for that as well as the release. And, we just thank you and the Upper Room for all your years of consistent support, man, and to all the listeners out there. Nothing but love to you from Sounds of Blackness.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And for the specifics, where's the CD release party tomorrow going to be held?
In South Minneapolis at the Sabathany Auditorium, a really nice facility that's right in the heart of the community. In the past, Brother Joe, we have usually had our CD release parties, in L.A., or even when we had them in Minneapolis, we had them at, some more Hollywood type of place, and we were like, you know what? We're not Hollywood type of people, no diss to Hollywood, right. But, it's like, let's bring this one right in the neighborhood, and so this auditorium is right in the neighborhood. We've made the event, a family affair, as Sly Stone said some years back, and we made it free to the public and all that kind of thing. So we're expecting, of course, an overflow crowd, and that's what's happening.
Now back when, first let me get the official total of the catalog of Sounds of Blackness.
Okay.
How many records is this?
This actually is, counting the Christmas record, number 7. I should know these things, but I believe it's actually number 7.
Okay.
Yep.
And back when you first released records, was it always on a Tuesday? I kind of forget.
Good. You know what? I don't know that it was, Joe.
I just remember going to the record store and if I had a friend who was a clerk, slipping us a copy a day before.
Right.
Like the Time or Prince or something like that, yeah.
Exactly, man.
Right. So it's great that you've got a brand new record, and our listeners can go to soundsofblackness.com. It's also exclusively at Best Buy, and just about every major town in the U.S. has a Best Buy in their town, right?
Yes, actually more than one, Brother
right.
Joe. In most towns, in primary, secondary, urban, rural, Best Buy is there, and we're on the end cap, so it shouldn't be hard to find. And we got to give a love shout out to Best Buy because, as you know, Best Buy is also a Minnesota corporation, as is Sounds of Blackness. Mm-hmm. And we partnered with them. They're not only our distributor for Kings and Queens, Brother Joe, but we are also collectively, Sounds and Best Buy, donating a portion of the proceeds from Kings and Queens to the building of the Martin Luther King Memorial in Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay, great.
Right, and also this record is about combating domestic violence and really bringing the spirit of Dr. King and the movement, which is why we call it Message Music from the Movement, to some of today's problems. The whole thing of disrespect and the use of the N-word and violence in the streets, domestic violence towards women. All of that content is what Message from the Music in Kings and Queens is all about. So Best Buy, like I say, has partnered with us to donate money toward the King Memorial and bring the spirit of Dr. King through the music to today.
That's well said, and Gary Hines is our special guest, the leader of the great band Sounds of Blackness, Grammy Award-winning band out of Minneapolis. And, you talked about the positive message, and we're going to go with the song right now, which leads off the record, Time for Love, which tell us first who sing the lead, and then you got a nice rap going on too, right?
Yeah, we do, as a matter of fact, and thank you for that, Brother Joe. On lead is none other than the assistant director, music director of Sounds, Billy Steele, a native of Gary, Indiana. And, the rap is done by a young brother from right here from Minneapolis. He goes by the name Vicious.
Mm-hmm.
Although, he's such a good young man, the name belies his personality.
Right.
So, that's just his hip-hop persona. But
right.
that's Vicious on the rap, and Billy Steele on the lead, and Sounds of Blackness band and vocals.
All right. Get it tomorrow at Best Buy, and go to soundsofblackness.com. We'll come back and speak once again with our special guest, Mr. Gary Hines, and this is WVOF. Time for Love, brand new from Sounds of Blackness and their latest release, Kings and Queens, message music from the movement. And I want to thank Gary Hines for stopping by the Up Room once again.
Oh, thank you, Brother Joe, and Sister G.
Yeah,
it's an honor.
She's back at home, I know you're into weightlifting and everything. Actually, she's been on the shelf. She pulled a muscle in her neck from weightlifting. So,
oh, no.
Yeah,
man.
So she hopefully she'll be all right going to see a doctor later on in the week.
Oh,
so,
no doubt, man. And she told me, that you were a little bit sick for a minute. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine now. Yeah.
Okay, cool, man.
We're taking turns.
I see, man. But, I'm not ashamed to say on the air, man, that me and Sounds of, you're always in our daily prayers, man. And not just because of how you supported us, but just because of the people that you guys are. And so, that's on the real.
Yeah, much love back to you and the band. And you guys got a busy schedule. I'm looking over the itinerary. Wednesday, you do the big appearance on the Tom Joyner Morning Show.
Right.
For the listeners, 6:45 in the morning Central Time. And also, the aforementioned big party in Minneapolis on the 4th. And you're doing some TV, KSTP, right? The morning show?
Right. That's the ABC affiliate here, Joe. And so in fact, we taped a segment at that same station just yesterday morning for another show there. So lots of love from the ABC affiliate here and some of the others as well, man. So we're just really grateful to everyone. Most of all to you, my friend.
The album, you mentioned the importance of the message about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and tell me about the influence of Dr. Martin Luther King on your life growing up in New York and throughout your life.
Absolutely, man. I remember, growing up as a kid in Yonkers. Shout out to Yonkers always. And my brothers and I were in a drum corps there, the Sam Dow American Legion Post. And the relevance of that to your question, Joe, is that many times when we'd be walking through the streets of Yonkers on our way to drum corps practice or whatever, sometimes when we'd go past some of the different stores, and we'd see, these older folks, black and white, all national, with these picket signs, and they were protesting. And we didn't quite understand. We knew that they were protesting something. And then as we, got a little older, we began to understand. And that, of course, that Dr. King, was the main motivation behind this. And so we were part of that firsthand, seeing that and growing up, and hearing those songs and seeing the footage. And then I'll tell you another thing. It's really interesting that you asked that, Brother Joe, because one of the things that happened when Dr. King was assassinated, one of the late great community leaders here from Minneapolis, Brother Harry Davis, who just passed away last year, was able to talk to the Honeywell Corporation, and the Honeywell donated seats on their presidential jet to help bring some of youth down to Dr. King's funeral. And my brother and I and a couple of other people that we know were among that. And so we were able to not only experience what Dr. King had done in life, but actually, attend the funeral. And all of that was deeply embedded, and that comes out in the music of Kings and Queens.
Wow. And you could tell, obviously a big moving CD with message, and you got funky beats and everything like that. But, yeah. I told you before that when I was listening to it, the first thing I thought, the way it was lined up in the message and the music, that this would be a great musical of some sort. Any thoughts to going in that direction?
It is. I told you by email, Brother Joe. It's so interesting that you say that. The short answer is yes, and the expansion on that yes is in part, and this is what I forgot to tell you in the email. I think really the foundation for that is already laid, because much of the music that is we recorded now on the Kings and Queens CD is from actually a Martin Luther King production that we do. It's not in a musical in the sense that you're thinking, that you suggested very wisely. It's more in the sense of a concert production. It's called Music for Martin. And we presented, some of the old spirituals and all the work songs, the protest songs and arrangements, many of which, again, are on the CD. And so now, really, since with that foundation laid, it's just about a storyline and, characters and choreography to take it the next step to an actual musical. So the foundation is already laid, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, it'll be available in stores. Yeah, you put it right there. So
yeah,
we'll start saving our money up for some tickets for that.
Oh, man.
We got to get into some more music. This album, great album from Sounds of Blackness. Kings and Queens message music from the movement, and it is in stores, Best Buy exclusively tomorrow. And we're going to get into a song which is, I wouldn't say, you guys are always going in different directions musically, but in the record it's right in the middle there, an instrumental, and We Shall Overcome. And tell us about this particular track, which has a lot of twists and turns to it.
It really does. This instrumental, I should say, Joe, arrangement of We Shall Overcome is, again, another arrangement from our Music from Martin production, and that's on the Kings and Queens CD. And it starts out real contemplative and moody, and with the jazz, tributable musically to there's some Wes Montgomery in there, all that kind of thing, with the real thought-provoking aspect of rights for all people and all that. That's the idea behind the guitar arrangement at the beginning, and then breaks into this, driving, more blues jazz, almost with a rock feel, arrangement that is symbolic of the march and the intensity and the passion of the We Shall Overcome. And so that's the idea that we tried to capture with this instrumental, and featuring our own guitarist, Mr. Solly Hughes.
All right, let's get into it right now. We Shall Overcome from Sounds of Blackness, something for everybody on this record. Soundsofblackness.com. We'll come back and speak once again with Mr. Gary Hines. Giving you a taste of about 3 or 4 tracks off the record, the brand new record from Sounds of Blackness, message music from the movement Kings and Queens, exclusively bestbuy.com or right in your stores, Best Buy in your town. And Gary Hines is with us, and your dear friend Ann Nesby has a new release. Coming out the 25th. This Is Love.
September 25th, This Is Love, from the one and only, the great Ann Nesby, who, as I was saying off the air, would definitely want me to send love to all the Upper Room listeners, and, of course, to you, Brother Joe, and to Sister G as well.
And she was on the last record on a couple tracks, right?
She sure was. She was on Unity, and actually her daughter, Jamesia, who's the mom of Paris from American Idol, was featured on the song They That Wait. So, it was a reunion feel that we wanted it to have, and we're going to be doing more of that, in upcoming recordings and live performances as well.
Let me ask you, as a band leader, and so many people in your band, you got different ensembles in the project. How difficult is it, when you get your thoughts, to get it through to all the members and get everybody on the same ship and doing the? Yeah, I guess maybe I'm not explaining it right. But
No, I know exactly what you're asking, man. Fortunately, number one, we're really blessed, Brother Joe, both in terms of our instrumentalists and our vocalists, to have people that are like-minded, yet, they are their own individuals, but we're all kind of on board musically, and where we're coming from with the message and the music. And so when the concept comes forward for, a record, we always present it and discuss it up front, get their input, exchange, all that kind of thing. And I think that inclusiveness, and the fact that we're already coming from the same place, spiritually and musically, is a real big help in trying to maintain being cohesive.
Right. You've got the big CD release party tomorrow, and that's going to be in South Minneapolis, right?
That's right, at the Sabathani Auditorium.
Do you remember when the first time you came to Minneapolis and went out to a club to see music or theater?
Wow, that's a good question, man. I tell you what used to happen, because, it was the whole underage thing, kind of like me and my middle brother, being too young and sneaking into the Apollo. This is going back in the day. So, but here in Minneapolis, there was a big club called Mr. Lucky's.
Okay.
And groups like, now you would know these groups, I don't know if all the Upper Room listeners do, but they're like Harvey Scales and the Seven Sounds, Maurice McGinnis and the Blazers, as well as national acts like Buddy Miles and so forth would come there. And so, we kind of, I guess now it can be told, do the fake ID thing and get into those. But,
right.
Had to see these great musicians. So I'd have to say Mr. Lucky's would be the first of those clubs that you're talking about.
And there was a club out there called Nacarema, right?
The Nacarema.
Nacarema,
right.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? How could I leave out the Nacarema? The Nacarema, the Blue Note, Dirty Gertie's, and those three that I just mentioned, they were like right straight up in the hood, man, kind of thing. And it was ironically harder to sneak into those clubs because, your parents and your people's co-workers of your parents were in those clubs. So but what we would do, and I'm sure Terry Lewis and some of the time guys will share this, before we actually were able to go there and play those clubs, we would literally be out in the alley in the back listening, kind of thing, and seeing if there was a way to get in, and usually there wasn't.
Right.
But the Nacarema, the Blue Note, Dirty Gertie's, all of those were really landmark institutions in terms of our musical ear and exposure as kids.
Yeah, Gary Hines is with us, the Grammy Award-winning artist of the band, and the Grammy Award-winning as a band, Sounds of Blackness. And, football season starts up Thursday this year.
Are you ready for some football, right?
Our teams, Giants and the Vikings, not going into the season with all the great forecast, but from what you've seen of your team, the Vikings, how do they look?
Well, they've shown flashes of brilliance. So that probably, in a word, would be inconsistent. Our special teams are still, have got a ways to go. Some improvement on offense, and the defense is good, except we still have to shore up the pass defense. So for all the Upper Room listeners, brother Joe and I share sports in general and football in particular passion as well as we do music. And so we're not picked to do extraordinarily well this year, but if the ball bounces our way, we should be okay.
Who's the opener against?
Atlanta Falcons, obviously, without Michael Vick.
Yeah,
so,
all the eyes will be on that game.
Yes, they will.
Is it in Minneapolis or on the road?
The Metrodome. No, it's a home game, and the Metrodome is right downtown Minneapolis, literally about 6 blocks from my apartment. So,
right.
We're planning to be there.
So also, if you're listening to the Tom Joyner Morning Show on all different outlets, Gary Hines of Sounds of Blackness will be on. That'll be on the 5th on Wednesday, and I'm going to pull up the calendar once again. For the people in the Twin Cities area, the KSTP TV morning show on Channel 5. You'll be there celebrating Kings and Queens. And then in Philly, Gary Hines Music Workshop at the National Baptist Convention. And we should mention on the 14th, Children's HeartLink fundraiser you'll be involved with as well, right?
Absolutely. And speaking of sports as it relates to that, just quickly, Brother Joe, just over a year or so ago, we lost Brother Kirby Puckett,
Yeah, right.
All-star player and primary reason we were able to win 2 World Series over the past 8 or 10 years when Kirby was still playing. And the reason I think of him is because children were near and dear to his heart, and he brought us Sounds of Blackness into the HeartLink Gala fundraiser every year, kind of thing. So every year, especially now, this will be the second year, without him being there. So it's really kind of tough because he was also a very close personal friend of mine. We bonded right when he came here, from Chicago to the Twins, kind of thing.
Right.
So a love shout out to the Puckett family. But Children's HeartLink, and we do that in Kirby's memory, but of course for the benefit of all those beautiful kids.
Yeah, and speaking of kids, we're going to get into a song. We're going to go out with 2 songs, but the first, Children of the Dream, man, another great kind of off-the-wall kind of song. Who's featured on this?
I'm so glad you mentioned that. You're going to play that. Featured on Children of the Dream from Kings and Queens is the special guest of Sounds of Blackness on Kings and Queens, and that group is called Forgiven. They're based also right here in the Twin Cities. They are, as we speak, returning from a 2-week tour in Panama. They are the next generation of Take Six with just incredibly outstanding, complex a cappella jazz harmonies.
Yeah. How is it coordinating the vocal arrangements for that?
Oh, just, they really do that on their own. I can't take credit for that,
Okay.
I mean, just a little bit of production, consultation here and there, but they are so disciplined, even in their age ranges from like 11 to like 15, and the harmonies that they're singing are just unbelievable.
And then we'll seg right into the song which concludes Kings and Queens message music from the movement, Don't Stop Till You Reach the Top. And I got to give it to you, man. You do a great job of putting the blues into the funky R&B feel right there.
Oh, thank you, man. We want to show that this family of music has more in common than it does different. So that's why we try to blend the two, and I'm glad you brought that out.
Yeah. So I got to thank you, Gary. And we'll, the album's just out, so that means, I'd love to have you on maybe in the mid-stretch of the record and see what's updated. I'm sure you have a lot more things with the band.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Anytime, man. We love you and appreciate you, man. And we'll, as always, be in touch by email, and we'll keep you posted on that Dream concert and everything else as well.
That's right. September 18th at Radio City Music Hall, Dream concert for Martin Luther King Memorial. Sounds of Blackness may be there. So also Stevie Wonder, Carlos Santana, Quincy Jones, Garth Brooks, and more. And thanks, Brother Gary. Much love to the Sounds of Blackness,
Yes,
everybody
sir.
in the band. And
Mad love to you and Sister G, man, and to all the Upper Room listeners. Please get to Best Buy tomorrow, Tuesday, September 4th, for Kings and Queens, message music from the movement.
And if you can't get out of your house, just get online. You can order it bestbuy.com, exclusively through Best Buy. And this is WVOF in the Upper Room, Gary Hines and Sounds of Blackness.
Ooh, ba-da-da.